right, hey Algebra 2. So this will be the third day of this unit. And so today we're really going to be focusing on the different types of measures and then comparing data and that kind of thing. So we're going to pick any two data sets and we're going to compare the measures and representation of the data. So a couple of things, all of the measures are up at the top. So mean is going to be the average of your data set. So you're going to take all of your points or all of the numbers, add them up, and then divide by how many there are. This MAD, M-A-D, is going to be mean absolute deviation. And this is something that you learned back in Algebra 1. It's been a hot minute since you've seen it. You had to calculate it by hand and it was horrible, so you blocked it out of your brain. But what that actually is the average distance between each point and the mean. And then standard deviation is going to be standard deviation. It's kind of like how spread out this data is, okay? And so basically it is the measure of the amount of variation or dispersion. You're going to see that word sometimes, of a set of values. Look at that neatness. All right, so you're going to pick two, and then you're just going to kind of compare. Okay, so for instance, if I picked these two, I see that the means are the same. My mean absolute deviation is higher over here than there, and so is my standard deviation, because this guy is way more spread out than this is. Okay, and you can pick another one and you can compare those as well. All right, so let's go ahead and come down here. And you're going to be using Desmos or a TI-84 calculator today. I'm going to teach you how to do the Desmos one. So I would pull that up. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up Desmos. And you're going to click on this little add item. And you're going to hit table. Okay, so you're going to hit table. And then on this side, you're going to type all of your data set out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops, sorry, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. So once you've typed all of that out into that X side, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to go in here to this little keyboard. All right, so you're going to go into this little keyboard and you'll go under functions, which is over here. Sorry. And you'll go under, like, let's say you wanted to find mean, and click on mean. Okay, and then you'll type the list name. So up here at the top, it has a list, which is called X sub 1. You could probably call this something else, but right now it's X sub 1. So we're going to type in here X. You're going to hit Shift, and the little bar below to go down, 1. Okay, and notice how over here, it already has the mean right here written out, and we also have calculated it by hand, or by calculator. Okay. You can do this also for your standard deviation. So you can come in here and you can be like functions, standard deviation, X sub 1. And then you always want to check and make sure that that's what they got, which they rounded up. They put 5.77. Okay. There is also a way that you can pull all of those stats all at the same time. You go under functions, and then you just hit stats, and you say X sub 1, and this pulls up your min, max, median, Q1, Q3. And this is actually how you would draw a box plot, which we're going to talk about like way later. but you've also seen it before. Okay, so if you remove the largest number, look at what happens to our standard deviation. So we took the same data set, but then we just removed the largest number. Okay, so again, we just removed the largest number. So we got rid of this 20. Okay, and look at how it affects our standard deviation. We went down, right? But everything else remained the same except for our median. Our median also went down. Okay, if we add a number on the outside, then our mean is going to change, and then the standard deviation is also going to go up, and our IQR is impacted, and so is our median. Okay, so if you take away a number, it affects it. If you add a number, it also affects it. Okay, so how do the standard deviation and mean change when you remove the largest number? So the standard deviation goes down, and the mean the mean also went down. Went down as well. How do they change if you add a larger one? They go up. And what do you predict will happen to the mean and standard deviation if you remove the least value from the data set? If you remove the least value from the data set, then let's go ahead and check and see what happens. So if I took out this one, okay, I would come in here and let's say that I run all of this again. I say mean stat mean x sub 1. It says undefined because we have a blank space up here. There we go. So we come down here, that would be 11. So let's compare that to what we already had. So many times. We already had 10. So if we drop the bottom one, our mean is going to go up. Okay, so our mean is going to go up. And then the standard deviation is going to go down. But let's check and make sure that that's right. So let's go over here. We've already taken away the 1. Okay, so let's go down here. We're going to go to functions. And again, you pull functions by this keyboard. You're going to hit stat. You're going to hit standard deviation. And then you're going to hit x sub 1. And that's 5.63. Okay, so looking back to our problem, the original is 5.77. So standard deviation is going to go down. Okay. In this next little section, it says add a value to equal to the mean. Okay, so you're going to figure out a number that'll equal to the mean, and then add 2 values to equal to the mean. Okay, and then what happens when you add a value to the data set to equal to the mean? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our data set, our original, and then just add 10.5 into there. Okay, so we're going to take our original data set, get rid of these, back in here, we're going to put a 1 in here, and then we're going to put that 10.5 in. Okay, and then we could run the statistics, but they already give us to us. Okay, and then what happens when you add a value to the data set equal to the mean, and then what happens when you add 2 values? Okay, well, we went from a mean of 10.5 to 10.5, so the mean doesn't change. Okay, and then the median then becomes from, actually, it's just going to hold the same because the median was already 10.5. So your median stays the same. And your IQR, we're at 10. We're at 10. So these numbers slowly kind of just like level out. The only thing that changes is the standard deviation. So coming down here, These numbers remain the same. The standard deviation just drops just a little bit. Okay. So coming back over here, you've got partner practice. Okay, you can find the mean, the standard deviation for the following dot plots. Okay, so each one of these dots represents a number. So for instance, there's 1 dot. There's 1 2 dots. Okay, so those are going to be your individual numbers, just like what we did up here. Okay, so you're going to work with a partner on these and then answer these questions. So go ahead and take a moment, work on that.